Welcome back. Now, according to the Green Industrialisation Blueprint, fully developing Namibia's synthetic fuel strategy could create up to 250,000 jobs. This includes about 185 direct jobs from activities like building wind and solar farms, operating pipelines and assembling electrolysers, and around 70,000 jobs related to concrete manufacturing, basic metals production and outsourced business services. Now, the sector also has the potential to boost local industries such as producing green hydrogen briquette, iron and processing critical raw materials which can drive the country's industrial growth. Now, joining us this morning to reflect on the importance of the green hydrogen as well as to briefly tell us about his professional journey in the Green Hydrogen Office is Joseph Mukendwa, Head of Policy Planning and Strategy at the Namibian Green Hydrogen Programme. Good morning, sir, and welcome to GMN.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Okay, it's a pleasure to host you this morning. Let's talk about a little bit about your educational journey and how it led you to being part of the Namibian Green Hydrogen Programme.
How much time do we have?
We have 7 minutes.
Right, no, just joking. Yes, so I was born in Katima, so I'm a Namibian, son of the soil. I hold a bachelor's degree of accounting from the University of Namibia and a master's degree in business administration from the Namibia University of Science and Technology, and hold other certificates like management development program from the University of Stellenbosch, among others. So that is more on the educational side, but in as far as my professional career is concerned, I've actually worked in a multitude of sectors. Started off in the Ministry of Education as a driver messenger in 2004, so some time ago. And then was given an opportunity to work for the NTA. So I was part of the team that started the Namibia Training Authority, and I worked my way through the ranks, as it were. I was an accountant, manager for corporate services, manager for training fund, and ultimately the general manager for the National Training Fund, where I led a team for the development of the National Training Fund and Vocational Education and Training Levy, which for me I think is one of the highlights of my career, because I was able to establish a fund that provides opportunities for skills development for Namibians. By the time I left the NTA, the fund was sitting at more than $1 billion Namibian, so that was actually quite exciting. Thereafter, I joined the Allen Gray Orbis Foundation as the regional director. So I was the regional director for the Allen Gray Orbis Foundation in Namibia, Botswana, and Eswatini. Before I joined Allen Gray, the asset management firm, as the manager for client services. And then earlier this year, in February, I joined the Namibia Green Hydrogen Programme as the head of policy planning and strategy. Yeah.
But let's talk about what perhaps attracted you to apply for the position at the Green Hydrogen Office and eventually working in that field.
Well, I believe my experience and background, I think, set me up for this position specifically. I had the experience. In all the roles, or in most of the roles that I held, I was involved in planning and or strategy implementation, or planning thereof and the execution, and also the development of policy. So that is one. But I think more so what attracted me to this is it's a new technology. I mean, to be part of something so revolutionary, something that can create opportunities for Namibians. In your introductory remarks, you mentioned the potential number of jobs that it could create and change the landscape of Namibia. I mean, I think that is just amazing. So for me, that was really what attracted me to the Green Hydrogen Programme.
Now, as part of the planning team in terms of establishing the Namibian Green Hydrogen Programme that is hosted through the Environmental Investment Fund, let's talk about some of the unique challenges that you face in this area. We're talking about synthetic laws that are not yet in place, the tax framework in terms of that will apply to the green hydrogen. But what are some of those challenges that you have experienced and how have you been able to deal with them?
You've mentioned some of them, but I think what the team is busy working on is ensuring that we put those legislative frameworks in place. But with the wisdom of the leaders before us, Namibia was actually a front runner in that we developed our strategy for green hydrogen and its derivatives some time ago. It was published in 2022. I implore our populace to actually have a look at our website and see what our aspirations are. The good thing about my job is I don't have to do it alone. When you talk about planning, it requires me engaging with the various team players to understand what their priorities are and what their focus areas are. Now, through that, what I've been able to establish, at least from my perspective, is one of the key and unique challenges is stakeholder buy-in. I think it is key because this is something that is so new. You want various stakeholders to participate, to partake, to take ownership of it. And I think through that, one will be able to realize, its full potential. And the way we've navigated that space is we have a manager for communication and external affairs, but we've also developed and are busy implementing a comprehensive stakeholder engagement strategy, and where we'll be engaging with various stakeholders and creating awareness about the opportunities that green hydrogen offers.
Yeah. Talking about some of the experience so far in terms of establishing this office, and also for those that might be thinking about taking up some space in green hydrogen, or possibly having a career in this space, knowing that we also have sent a couple of numbers of students through SASCAL to go study in Germany, what would be your advice to them? What do they need to do in order to ensure that they take up this much space in which Namibia is leading, at the forefront of it?
No, perfect. I think firstly, be curious. It's a new industry. We see a lot that is being publicized in the media, but take initiative and do your research. There's a lot of material out there. The Namibia Green Hydrogen Programme has been established. We have a website. Have a look at the material that we've actually developed. Stay ahead of the developments, and over and above that, you just mentioned it, the support that we are getting through SASCAL, through other donor agencies to support Namibians to study relevant courses. And I think that's the other thing. There is research that is being carried out around what are the skill sets that are going to be in demand in this emerging area. Look at those skills and ensure that you equip yourself accordingly. But for me, what is important, and I live by this motto, is the attitude that you have, I think, determines your altitude. So if you have a I want to learn attitude and I can do anything kind of attitude, I think that will go a long way. So certainly, I would encourage Namibians to take up this opportunity, but equip yourself with the knowledge and do your research. And I think certainly there are massive opportunities that are being created, not only in green hydrogen specifically, but in other sectors that are linked to green hydrogen.
Okay. Let's focus perhaps much on green hydrogen, both for Namibia and globally. And how do you see that shaping the country's economy and industrial landscape? We had not so long ago the EU Commissioner for Energy in Namibia, when the Africa Global Summit was here on hydrogen was taking place, talked about the fact that EU is looking at Namibia producing approximately 1 million tons of green hydrogen that the Europeans need. So what is it, in terms of shaping Namibia's economy and the landscape, and also perhaps changing the perspective right there in terms of the world when it comes to green hydrogen? What potential is there?
I think the potential is massive. One thing that as a country we've been endowed with natural resources. We have some of the best sun, we have the wind, we have the ocean, and we also have some of the minerals, critical raw minerals that are required for this energy transition. And over and above that, we have a stable political climate. So we have a lot that is actually going for us as a country. So when we talk about green hydrogen, and for us, it's not only about producing green hydrogen and exporting it. And I think there is also a misconception that we are exporting green hydrogen, but actually we're looking to export things like ammonia and other products that we can actually create from green hydrogen. So for Namibia, it could potentially change the economic landscape. And what we've seen, we've done research, and there is a Green Industrialisation Blueprint that was developed and is available on our website for people to have a look, where we've identified 8 new economic areas or industries that can be localized here in Namibia, where we can be at the forefront. This includes manufacturing of solar panels, wind turbines, as well as electrolysers, but also introducing or producing new products such as synthetic fuels, or adding value to our lithium deposits, as well as you mentioned earlier in your introduction, hot briquetted iron. All of these are new industries that can be developed in Namibia on the back of green hydrogen, and they they have the potential to create opportunities for Namibians. And you can imagine, if we get this green industrialization going, this could definitely boost our economy, and research indicates that it could increase contribution towards our GDP by sort of more than 30% if we compare to not having green hydrogen as part of the industries that we are looking at. So it holds a lot of promise, but it requires various stakeholders to come on board and for us to actually pull in the same direction.
Is there anything that we might have left out that is worth sharing before we let you go this morning?
I think one I can say is that we've been blessed with all of these natural resources and human resources. I know that we have a youthful population and we have this high unemployment, but we have this opportunity with green hydrogen. but we are in competition with other countries, not only in Africa, but internationally. So these opportunities are not going to be around forever. You know, we need to take advantage of them. And yesterday I heard a very interesting definition of innovation. It's about being responsive, you know, making sure that we implement our policies and our aspirations timelessly. So that is what I implore and invite all the various stakeholders to engage with us on this journey and engage